INCRadio, DZEM 954, ang tinig ng katotohanan, himpilan ng Iglesia ni Cristo, sumasahimpapawid mula sa Quezon City.
Hello.
Hola.
Bonjour.
Konnichiwa.
Ni hao. Ciao.
안녕하세요.
Mabuhay.
Welcome to Washington State.
Explore the sights. Discover new things.
Appreciate the arts, music, and food.
Travel to new places.
Meet the people.
Make new friends.
In other words, come home with us.
Come home with us.
This is INCRadio Seattle, Washington.
Hello, everyone tuning in to INCRadio Seattle from all over the world. My name is Sister Jenny Martinez. I will be your host today, and I'm from the local congregation of Seattle. Super happy to be here with all of you because I love spending time with all of you guys. So thank you so much for being here and dedicating your time with us. So in case you didn't catch it last Saturday, our topic today is about traveling. So if you're like me, I do have a whole lot of friends right now who are currently traveling or even having plans to do so. So we thought, why not make a show about traveling and tips and tricks, right? Hence, our topic, Spring into Action, Travel Edition. Our guest is here today to talk to us about his travel experiences, and will also share his tips and tricks. You'll go ahead and meet him a little bit later. In the meantime, we would like to remind you of our very fun challenge that we have every weekend, where we ask our brethren in the District of Washington State to hashtag the local that they are from in the live chat, and whichever local congregation hashtags theirs the most will then be announced as our winners next weekend. But for now, I would like to announce our winners from last weekend. In third place, we have the local congregation of Shoreline. Thank you so much for clapping. And in second place, we have the local congregation of Everett. Congratulations. And in first place, we have the local congregation of Seattle.
Nice.
Thank you, Brother Joe. Yeah, it is, again, Shoreline, Everett, and Seattle. So please go ahead and support your local congregation by hashtagging your local in the live chat. And hopefully you guys will be announced as winners on next weekend. Now moving on to our most active brethren in the live chat. This is the same concept, except this is the most active brethren. In third place, we have Sister Juliet Ciro from Spokane. Congratulations, Sister Juliet. Thank you so much for being active. Also, in second place, we have Brother JC Sandre from Seattle. Congratulations. And in first place, we have the local congregation of Seattle with our sister, Arian Bangolan. Thank you so much, Sister Arian Bangolan. Aren't you too young to be in the live chats? I'm just kidding. She's she's one of our younger ones. But thank you so much, Sister Arian, and congratulations to you and to all of our winners and our local congregation winners. So anyways, we'd like to remind you of the different ways of how we can tune in, just in case you're not tuned in already. We do have our YouTube channel, and if you type in INCRadio DZEM 954, you'll be able to find us. And when you do find us, please don't forget to subscribe. We also have our website, which is INCRadio.org. So once again, we encourage you all to please share this with your friends and family, because you never know, this may touch them in a good way in their hearts and whatnot. So once again, please do get connected. And now the time that you guys have all been waiting for, to meet our guest who is here. Brother Joe, go ahead. And if you have any shout outs, please, now would be the time to do so.
Thanks, Sister Jenny. Hello, everyone. I'm Brother Joe Barrientos from the locale of West Seattle. Shout out to our brethren in Seattle who are preparing for the special day that's happening tomorrow. So thank you, brethren, for working so hard so that we can have an amazing event tomorrow at the Seattle parking lot.
Thank you so much, Brother Joe, for making that reminder. And yes, hopefully we all will be able to see all of you guys there tomorrow. So we would like to ask a question to all of those who are watching. And please go ahead and type your answer in the live chat because we do read your answers throughout the whole entire show. So we would like to ask, what places have you traveled to? Please let us know and we'll read those comments and responses right after our promotional video, which we do not have. Just kidding. Thank you, Brother Joe, for being here with me. But we do actually have some greetings. So let's go ahead and read some of our greetings. From Brother Roy Lopez, he says, Happy Saturday po to all. Excited to see you tomorrow for our CFO Day. From Sister Annette Baldonado. Thank you so much, Sister Annette, for always watching, by the way. And she also showed to me in person one time how she was logged in onto INCRadio watching. So thank you so much, Sister. She says, Happy birthday, Brother Mong Organio from your Fedway family. Happy birthday, brother. And then from Brother Relly Rivera, he says, Happy Saturday and happy viewing to all brethren around the world. Greetings from Washington State. Thank you so much, and good afternoon to you, Brother Relly. And thank you for all of those who have chimed in. And again, please go ahead and keep chiming in because we like to read your comments throughout. Anyways, are we now ready? Brother Joe, I don't know why I'm always saying this as if like I'm an announcer, but anyways, are you ready for our discussion?
I am, and I'm excited to share sort of my travel experiences, maybe some tips that'll be helpful for our brethren who are thinking about traveling, and also just talking about the value and just what we learned from traveling. It's such a great experience to sort of go see another culture, to experience another culture. For me, it's that learning from folks, but also it's about the food, the amazing food, and the different sites that you get to experience when you go to a different place.
As you guys can see, he already is so ready for our topic. And by the sounds of it, it sounds like you've already traveled everywhere. And it's actually pretty great. I'm glad that you're a guest today and that I'm hosting because my friends and I are actually planning our trip sometime in September. We plan to have a Europe trip since, they've been wanting to go for the longest time. But anyways, going off of some of the things that you have told us right now, first off, please let us know what places have you traveled to?
I had to do my research because I've been to about 23 different countries and about 28 different cities. And so I've been to Cambodia, to Croatia, to the Czech Republic, Denmark, South Korea, Japan, Italy, India, Iceland, Greece, France, Estonia, Liechtenstein, Luxembourg, Monaco, Portugal, Vietnam, Turkey, Thailand, and Germany.
Okay, I was about to say, because I was wondering how in the world are you able to name all of that from the top of your head? And then I saw that you had a little paper, so I was like,
did.
okay.
I did my homework. I actually have a little world map. And so it's one of those things where if you visited the country, you can scratch it off.
Oh, right. Yes.
Like reminding me other parts of the world that I haven't yet seen. So yeah, so those are the 23 sort of countries that I've visited. And within those countries, like for example, in Italy, I did Venice, Rome, Pisa, Toledo, and then in Vietnam, I did Ho Chi Minh and Hanoi. And then in Greece, Athens and Santorini, one of the islands. And then in Croatia, Dubrovnik, Split with the two cities that I went to.
So then from all of those places that you did visit and all of the countries, because, I did notice that you mentioned Italy. So is Italy your favorite place that you've visited by far?
Actually, my favorite so far, or there are two places. One is Turkey. I went to Istanbul, and then there is a place in the very center of Turkey called Cappadocia, where you can do a hot air balloon ride. And it was amazing. I am kind of afraid of heights. So this was like a sort of one of those um, pushing the envelope kind of moment for me. But it's a huge basket. Like there was enough to fit how many people? For 12 people in a large basket on a hot air balloon. And it was amazing. It was one of the most sort of peaceful experiences. It was early in the morning. You had to get up at 5:30. You go to the field, and then they're filling up the balloons with hot air at dawn, and so you see the light firing up when they're filling up the balloons, and then you go up there. It's amazing. It was so smooth. Um, so that was one of sort of my favorite moments. And then the other one is in Dubrovnik in Croatia. They did a lot of exterior shots from the Game of Thrones in Dubrovnik. So there's a photo of me sitting on the Iron Throne. And then there's a video, a very short video of me doing the walk of shame on the stairs where they do the walk of shame.
And just FYI for those, we're not sponsored by Game of Thrones, but it is a popular series, so it's pretty cool. The Walk of Shame. I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about, but nothing to be ashamed of, brother. But I do want to take it back to Turkey because I did see that on social media too. You know, the hot air balloons. Um, and at one time, is it only just one hot air balloon or like a few that goes up? Because from the social media I seen, it's like it looks like hundreds almost.
It's hundreds. I think the day that we went up, they said there were about 185 to 210 balloons that were up, and it's amazing. It's beautiful. And the most interesting thing was we're trying to figure out, at the end of the balloon ride, the basket in itself is very heavy. There's like 15 people, 12 to 15 people. There's all of the gas tanks that they use to fire up so it's really heavy. So we're trying to figure out how do they get it back on this trailer. Um, like it'll take maybe at least 10 to 12 men to lift it up to put it on the trailer. So how they do it is at the end of the balloon ride, um, they will land on a field, and then the trailer will kind of go on this large field. The pilots were so skillful, and they actually landed on the trailer, and they have the two or three people that help to kind of make sure that it settles on the trailer. So it was amazing. It just the level of skill and the control that they have to be able to land it on the trailer was incredible.
Yeah, you can tell that they definitely, this isn't their first time doing this.
Mhm.
And I love that you said that you normally are scared of heights, but the fact that you're able to do that, because I'm the same way. I feel that I'm also afraid of heights, but if I feel secure,
Mhm.
um, then I'm like brave enough to go on roller coasters and whatnot. But this is you're kind of just sitting in the box or standing in the box, right?
Yeah.
But I guess you're so taken away by the views because I know Turkey is quite beautiful, right?
Yeah.
But thank you so much for sharing that with us. But I wish we can talk a little bit more about that because, like I told you, I am going to be traveling soon, so I'd love to get as much input. But I do have to ask you. I'm being forced to ask you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm willingly asking you. Do you have any planned trips this year?
I do. So this January, I was in Thailand, and so I did Bangkok and Chiang Mai, and then in October, my hope is to be able to go to Morocco because I've never been to Morocco. So I want to do Casablanca and what's the other Marrakesh is the other city that I'd like to go and visit.
So, what kind of enticed you to want to visit that place specifically?
Recently, about a year and a half ago, I was in Turkey, in Istanbul, and I loved the food and just the um, arts around mosaics. Like so many of the beautiful buildings had like tiny little mosaics that created this beautiful display. And so I want to sort of go to Morocco to take a look at that. And then also the food. For me, I'm realizing that I love to eat, Sister Jenny. So like anywhere where I can go get really, really, really good food and really, really inexpensive, sign me up.
So if you had to choose between one or between the two, would you rather see the sights, the sceneries in these different countries, or would you rather go and taste their food?
Hmm. If I could do both, if like there was this beautiful restaurant in Portugal where you can have lunch and overlook a valley that had like three or four different castles. That I would do that. Where I can have good food and have an amazing view, I would do that.
The reason why I ask you though is because like like I told you, I'm since I'm going to be traveling soon, sometime in September, I didn't take into consideration the food. I just took into consideration the sightseeing. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, I need to actually think about eating, right? So yeah, you can never go wrong with eating. But anyways, like you said, you have a planned trip to Thailand. So I do want to ask you, what are the steps that you take when you're planning a trip?
One of the very first things is to kind of figure out the cities or the countries that you're going to, specifically what cities you're going to. One, are there houses of worship? Are there places where you can attend worship service? In Thailand, there are there's a locale in Thailand that's really close to in Bangkok that's really close to everything. So and they have their version of Uber, which is Grab. So you can just take a Grab to attend the worship service. So that's the first thing is to figure out the cities and the countries you're going to. Are there worship services that you can attend? So that's the first thing. The second thing is to think about traveling off peak season. Usually, everybody travels during the summer, right? Because that's when kids are out of school or other family members are out of school. But that means everybody's traveling. That means the airfares are super expensive. Hotels are super expensive. So if you can travel off peak season, which usually is around late September, October, November, because in January it gets kind of busy with the holiday seasons or the world's holiday season. So December, January, February tends to be kind of busy. But towards mid-February, March, so late January, February, March is another good time to travel. That's another off-peak season. So if you watch the airfares carefully, you'll see that they start to drop airfares around late September, October, mid-November, and then late November to December, January, it spikes up because that's when everybody travels. And then late January, February, mid-March is when it goes down again. So those are the sort of peak season. So that's when I start to look for airfares, and that's when I travel because, like I said, airfares are cheaper. Hotels are also a whole lot cheaper because it's all off peak season. So that'd be sort of the second thing. The third tip I would do is use sites if you're looking for airfares. Use sort of the sites that do the aggregation of airfares. So like the Google, it's not we're not promoting anything, but sites that aggregate sort of the airfares. So you can take a look at which ones gives you the cheapest uh, fares available during off-peak season. And when you search, use the calendar function, the calendar of fares, instead of just the days that you're looking for. Because when you look at the calendar, it'll tell you if you travel 1 or 2 days before or after, it may be $200 cheaper.
I have seen that as well when I do log into Google. I do see the calendar that you're talking about. But there is something that I wanted to, because obviously, you're an experienced traveler. So I'm always told to book flights, I think on Tuesdays, Mondays or Tuesdays. Is that because like apparently on Tuesdays the flights are cheaper? Is that true in your experience, or have you ever heard of that?
Right. In my experience, outbound flights tend to be cheaper if you're traveling on a Tuesday, Wednesday, because most of the time, so if you think about who travels sort of on, so like Saturday, who travels out on Saturdays, Sundays, or Mondays, it's usually business people, right? They're going on to like a conference or somewhere. And so it tends to be much more expensive. So traveling out or booking out, coming back, usually if you look at Tuesdays Wednesdays, sometimes Thursdays, they tend to be cheaper in terms of the airfares. And then coming back, you'd be surprised that coming back on a Saturday or a Sunday is also cheaper.
Okay, because that's actually what my tickets are booked for as well right now. I think we're leaving on the Friday, coming back on the Sunday. And I did notice that, yeah, it is definitely cheaper all the time on the weekends, for whatever reason. But anyways, because we're limited on time, but I do want to ask you this quick question. What would be your advice to those who are traveling for the first time?
Do your research. For example, if you're going to a country or a city that you haven't visited before, go on the web and figure out if you're there for 3 or 4 days. Google itinerary for 3 or 4 days for, let's say, Paris. So that will give you a good idea. You know, the first things that'll come up will be like the trip advisors or the places that or the companies that will try to get you to book like a tour guide or a tour with a particular company. So get those, but also look at people who do travel blogs, because a lot of times they're not promoting anything, right? So they're just talking about experience. They may give you a different perspective on the kinds of things that you might want to do. So do your research. Take a look at what you want to do. What are your interests? Are you more interested in architecture? Are you interested in the food? Are you interested in looking at the sites? Uh, you know, the thing to kind of think about is, do you want an experience, or do you want um, just photos like the Instagram, so that you can say, "Oh, I was here. Look, I'm standing in the front of Eiffel Tower," and then that's it, right? So think about what is the experience that you want to have. The other thing is, once you many places will have either a free or very cheap walking tour of the city. Do one of those. It'll give you a good sense of where you are, and then also an idea of places that you really want to go back and visit on your own and spend a lot more time. So do that. And then the other thing I would do is do a food tour or take a cooking class, because it's a great way to learn about the culture, to learn about people when you do like a food tour or take a cooking class.
So obviously a lot of planning goes into um, traveling. So thank you so much, Brother Joe, for giving us some tips and advice on what to do. And in case there are any of our viewers who don't like to plan, travel with someone who loves planning. It'll make it much more easier for you. And that's just a tip, because I'm also traveling with those who love to plan. So it makes my life easier. But anyways, thank you again, Brother Joe, for being here today. We'll go ahead and move it to Brother Andrew. He has all the updates on what's happening in the District of Washington State.
Hello, everyone. It's Brother Andrew Santa Monica from the local of Seattle. Seattle. If we can review our previous activities last week. So we had last Saturday our Burien Clean Sweep from the District of Washington State. They went to Burien Chapel so that they can clean up the community around the area, include streets and around. We had also on Sunday our special gathering of deacons, deaconesses, and overseers. They were gathered there in the Seattle Chapel. While they were there together with the district, the deacons received leis and the deaconesses received flowers, especially those who performed their duties for over 40 years. We also had a baptism last Monday with led by our Assistant District Minister, Brother Reddy Rivera, as we commemorated that momentous occasion of new members inside the Church of Christ. We also would like to mention that throughout this week, the local congregation of Spokane was visited by our district supervising minister, Brother Remil Regino, on Wednesday. And also, there was a Bible study May 2nd in Spokane. And then on May 3, yesterday, there was what we call a Batarisan, or that is teamwork renovation in Filipino language. Many brethren around the district helped with renovating the Spokane place of worship. Also, upcoming activities, the CFO, we will have our Christian Family Organization Day tomorrow in Seattle, Sunday, 5 p.m. And actually, tomorrow will be Tacoma Congregation's 43rd year anniversary. And this coming Friday, on May 10, Des Moines will have their 7-year anniversary. And the Binhi, those who are baptized members 12 to 17, will have their regional EVM or Evangelical Mission, 7:30 in the evening on Friday. And the children's worship service, those who are 4 to 12 years of age, they will have their district CWS family outing in Point Defiance Park at Tacoma this Saturday or next Saturday, May 11. And on that same day, the district also will hold a Pasugo or God's Message magazine distribution and picnic on that same day. So please save those dates and always ask our beloved brothers and sisters here in the district for more info so you can prepare for everybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Brother Andrew, for all of the updates of what's happening here in our district. We'd also like to thank all of you who are watching and for tuning in every single Saturday. Thank you once again, Brother Joe. And on behalf of INCRadio Seattle, we'd also like to give a huge thank you to our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. We'd also like to thank our Sub-C President and overall CFO Overseer, Brother Angelo Manalo. Thank you to our Station Manager, Brother Arnel Solano. We'd also like to thank our District Minister, Washington State, Brother Romel Regino, to our CFO Overseer, Brother Chris Valdez, and our Executive Producer, Brother Manny Andaya, and of course to all of you, the listeners. And lastly, but not the least, thank you to our INC Radio Tech crew. It is because of all of you that we get to do this every Saturday and get to connect with those from all over the world. Thank you so very much. From INC Radio Seattle, we'll see you later.